We back. Why did I just aggressively just grab my mic? I thought it was in a pretty good position. Just out of habit. Good morning to the sports world. How's my volume? It's better. Okay, cool. Nice. Let's do one more thing here. Let's do the little meta weirdness. Nice. Rocked. We're good to go, folks. Happy Friday. Welcome to RateGame Live. Boom. There's the little show leading. A little app logos up there. Apple and Play Store. Because it's an app, first and foremost. Actually, the first app store we built it for was, or phone, I should say, was the iPhone. Because it's just easier, number one, cheaper, number two, and I am an iPhone owner, number three. So that is I think the general consensus for making an app if you want to move quickly and you want to get your product out into an app store, or in this case, Apple's app store, and then obviously get users. Usually I guess it depends on where you are in the world. I know that iOS and Apple are not universal. I think Android and Google have, outside of America, they probably have like most of the international phone market. I think it's like 60-40 Android to iOS. Don't quote me on that though. But anyway, built RateGame 1.0 MVP, whatever you want to call it, for iOS only. And it wasn't until I think maybe later that summer, like towards the middle of August, before we had Android. It's a large group of folks who were watching Heat Check's content, which was like the first creator that we ever had. First creator I ever like partnered with to push RateGame on their channel. And most of his subscribers he's in Macedonia, North Macedonia. So most of his 670,000 subscribers are not based in the US. And so they would come on and try and look for it on Google Play, and lo and behold, it wasn't there. So that's when the decision was made to accelerate the launch of RateGame onto Android. And so now you got the three, it's everywhere you could possibly want it. It's on Apple, Android, web, all three platforms. So no matter where you go, no matter what kind of phone you got, RateGame is available and it's free. And that is the beauty of the show, because we use all the ratings on RateGame to shape the show. Fans shape the show here every morning. Little asterisks there. Most every morning. Recovering from a little bit of a sickness, so took a couple days off this week and back in the saddle today. So the usual cadence here is Sunday to Sunday or Saturday to Sunday, whatever, 7 days a week. And the show is pretty straightforward. We kind of anchor ourselves to a question that is rhetorical. It's asked and then answered by. Thanks, Flame. Great to be here. Happy Friday. Asked and then answered by the fans of the world, sports fans of the world. Asked by the sports fans, answered by the sports fans on RateGame. So the question is, were the sports good? Hashtag WTSG. Were the sports good in the last 24 hours is really what we're asking. 24 hours, yes, no, maybe so. And we use our own system, our own source of truth to give you the answer. So let me pull up our little dash. Been playing around with some new copy, by the way. Or not new copy, just new designs for the placeholder for the live. So I'm not sure if anybody saw on the website today or on rategame.io, but I'll flash it real quick. There's a this guy right here. It's like a new little placeholder for the live. One a little bit softer. The one that I had previously to this, I think, was a little intense. It was like a huge globe in the middle. Simple, but I think this is more easy to understand. It's more, it's like templatized. You can like put the date in easier. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm always changing things up around here, trying to find that perfect combination. So back to the question and the answer. Had kind of a light slate and pretty much a carry from the World Cup. The World Cup is doing work right now because yesterday, no, that wasn't yesterday. 2 days ago was the first day of our final countdown here for the group stage. So yesterday was 6 matches. Today will be 6 matches. And then tomorrow we will close out with 6 matches. But there's 17 games played. 6 of those were World Cup. That's where like the most bulk of the ratings are coming from and have been coming from for the past month. So from everything that I can see, right, the 368 on the window, 639 on the platform, the 368, excuse me, 368. I venture to assume that, yeah, look at that, 295 from World Cup. World Cup's been a beast in the best way. 8 games in the MLB, 53 ratings there. 3 games in the WNBA, which is misleading, I think, because there was a record-setting performance by the Toronto Tempo's Miss Mabry. But the game wasn't good. I mean, I saw the score of the game. I think she was just trying to stat pad there, which, I mean, what was Bam Adebayo trying to do? So I totally get it. Doesn't mean the game was like good, but I think if you're going for a record or you're watching a performance that's just like an all-time performance, and the game that necessarily isn't so great, I think it's still worth your time. I think it's still entertaining. You know, you always wish that when somebody does a performance, when somebody is going for a record like that, so I think specifically in basketball, because it's kind of hard to have performances like that in like a baseball game where it's like, oh man, you know, he's hit 2 homers. We really need him to hit this third to win the game. Usually, like if you hit 2 homers in a game, your team's probably up by a lot. Or like if you're gonna go hit your 3rd homer, it's very like focused on the individual for baseball. Basketball is like the only sport where, you know, like Kobe scored his 81. They were losing most of that game. Like, they needed his 81. By the time I got to the fourth quarter, they had created some distance, but it wasn't until like midway through the fourth when, it was like, okay, now Kobe can go for history because Toronto was giving him everything. And, like, when people are setting records and the game is close, then it's just like popcorn, man. It's just like, wow, you're in for a treat. When you have Bam Adebayo's 83, excuse me. You have Bam Adebayo's 83 and the last, entire fourth quarter, it's just like Wizards are just throwing bodies at him to get into the foul line. And, he took 40-something free throws. It's just like it's like, oh, man. It's almost comical at that point. Oh, wow. Was she really? That's ridiculous. Yeah, we'll get into it, Flame. I didn't know that. So, yeah, back to the board here. Pretty, I don't want to say disappointing, but yeah, kind of disappointing from the World Cup yesterday. And then Major League Baseball, right smack dab in the middle of a Thursday light day. And then the WNBA with 3. Miss Mabry with the tie for first in the most points ever scored in a WNBA game, 53. So that is a mixed bag in the truest sense of the word. We will go to myself back here. And we'll pop this guy up. Here we go. So, where's sports good? Is the USA okay? Yeah. So, the U.S. men's team, they are headed to the knockout, the round of 32, which was a foregone conclusion before last night's game. Heading into last night's game, we even knew that we were going to be playing Bosnia on July 1st. So everything was kind of like tied with a bow. Supposed to be a game for, I think, Pulisic to get back into the swing of things, which he certainly did. Came in, looked spry, looked a little rusty. There was a couple touches there. Also, and get to this in a second, but he looked good. I think Turkey looked better. Turkey looked like a World Cup team. Turkey, the announcer said something that stuck out to me last night, and it was like describing the culture and almost like the infrastructure that Turkey has for their soccer program nationally. Like, they have the traditional European, like, top leagues, sub leagues. And so, all the people that were on the team, like Arda Güler, guy's a menace, guy's insane. Like, Turkey, where was that team the other 2 games? Because the Turkey that we got last night was not cold turkey. They were cooking. And then obviously, it's a pride play. You don't want to leave the World Cup and go back to your country having not won a single game, and also having not scored. I think they got shut out the last 2 games. So I think you had that coming into it, and I also was very, very suspicious of the fact that the old red, white, and blue would definitely be, I don't want to say taking plays off, but taking plays off, or just not playing with the killer instinct. This is just like classic American soccer mentality. There is not or has not been this almost like sense of urgency and fear. There's a lot of complacency. I think Pochettino has done an incredible job of changing that a little bit, but the fact that we won our first 2 games and essentially had nothing to play for in this one is why you saw what you saw. And I think going into the knockout stage, I think I'm worried. I'm definitely worried. I'm worried about this team now. And I've had this in the back of my head since the World Cup started, since I saw them play that friendly in Senegal. I just feel that we're really not we just had that was a test last night and we failed it. We failed that test. We lost the game in the last minute to Turkey, who's not going on to the knockout stage. And when all of our guys were benched because they had 4 yellow cards. So that's lack of discipline. No Flo Balogun. This guy Way, man. Yeah. I think I read that article too. Just how there's no relegation, right? So in American soccer, the infrastructure and the lack of leagues, because it's just MLS. Well, it's MLS, and then I think there's there is another soccer league, but I don't think they feed into each other. I don't think you get promoted or relegated in Major League Soccer because there's just not enough teams. And also, if you don't make the playoffs in MLS, or if you don't not even all of them, if you don't make the playoffs in MLS, the MLS Cup, you don't go anywhere. And so, okay, maybe you fire your coach, but the players don't feel. I read that article, Flame. I know what you're talking about now. It's there is certainly complacency because there's no consequences. There's no consequences because there's no relegation. There's no relegation because soccer is not America's thing. So yeah, I think what's happened here with the way that the US has started this tournament is I think they have completely I don't want to say gaslit, but for the casual soccer fan who doesn't pay attention to soccer until the World Cup comes around, they're probably looking at last night maybe oh well, we didn't need that game anyway, and good for Turkey. They leave and they go back to the homeland, with their heads held high. We'll be fine. On to the next. This was we didn't care anyway. Classic American, just arrogance and not understanding the big picture. And I think what I saw last night was a little reality check, a little back down to earth. This is the US soccer that I am used to and that I get super nervous about. They were very nervous. They were very nervous. They were sloppy, out of place, poorly defending. The 2 goals that they had, Berhalter's was sweet. I won't lie. Berhalter's was the little skipper. That was cool. And then you had Trusty with the beautiful, beautiful setup off the corner. 2 goals were great, but I think a lot of the like chaos that I saw from the US is what I'm used to growing up watching this team compete and not compete in 2018 for a World Cup. So I think Americans are like, we're gonna roll Bosnia. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm not penciling that in as like okay, who do we got in the round of 16? I'm like white knuckling, getting ready for some craziness to go down in that game. Like don't be so sure, Americans. After seeing it. And Turkey's like really good. Like where was that team? Those goals were incredible. The passing was amazing. Like the Arda Güler, he's incredible. That I can't believe that team didn't win a game until last night. That was crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That guy on South Africa Flame who scored the goal, the tiny guy, the fast guy, I think he's going to be a problem for you guys. He was showing me stuff. I was like, this guy is a lightning bolt. He's so good. I forget his name, but I was thinking about him and how he's going to match up against you guys. I'd be careful. And also the South African style is like relentless. It's like the exact opposite of Europe and even what we were doing last night. There's so many little stretches there in the game for the Americans where they're just like passing around, wasting time. This was when it was tied, obviously 2-2. But there was just like no pressing. I think everybody was gassed. I think that guy, I don't think he should be playing versus Bosnia. He is not fast. And he, if you're going to be an offensive striker guy, you need to be fast. Guy was like being outrun, chased down the field by a Turkish defender who was like 3 steps behind him, would just catch up to him and then pass him and then tackle him or just kick the ball out of bounds. Tim Weah is not his father, sadly. Yeah. Who's normally there? Isn't it Flo? Like, when are we going to get him back? Obviously for Bosnia, but yeah. So, congratulations to the U.S. I think, this is the best result we've ever had in a group stage. So you can't take that away from them. And I'm not, not here to say like it's over. I'm just here to say that I am scared. I'm scared about our future here with what's, the next level, because now it's like no joke. Now it's like no joke. And then you had on the other side in the other, I'll say, group E. So the groups that were finished yesterday were Group E, Group F, and Group D. And Group E, specifically this game right here, unbelievable game. One of the most fun in the tournament, I think, just because of the drama and like the reaction to scenes. I think it's a holiday today. I think the Ecuadorian president declared it an actual holiday for them. The manager, man, he was giving me all the feels. I got some good pictures of him. This was so cool. There's just absolute scenes at New York, New Jersey Stadium, not MetLife. Let me know if you guys can hear this. With the music. That's his family. I didn't know it was set to Coldplay, but that was literally just a live scene. Look at this, dude. Like, are you kidding me? That's what's up. So much emotion. And then just like all the players on the field. Crazy. I think I saw something. Yeah, he did. He had a great call. I think I saw something too about the fact that the last time they advanced was 20 years ago when Germany hosted the World Cup. So not against Germany. They didn't like, this isn't like a kind of like a deja vu thing, but there is like a little through line between Ecuador and Germany, and that the last time Ecuador made it to this round was when Germany hosted the World Cup 20 years ago. I think it was 2006. So very cool. What a comeback, man. They were left for dead. Absolutely left for dead. Look at this. That's his family. It's incredible. Just absolute scenes at MetLife. Jets would never have a scene like this. It's so funny, like all these games being played where the Jets and Giants play and they have like significance, like such significance. I wonder if the Jets and Giants are like, man, like our stadium is never sold out like this. Our stadium is never has like the crowd pops probably like watching this and being like, huh, so that's what this could be like if we were good. That's interesting. Did they win though? I don't think so, but they somehow qualified. Maybe they tied Germany, or maybe they lost Germany, but they beat the others. So Ecuador, Ecuador just, there's like a German connection there. It's pretty funny. This was the Ecuador you were expecting, Flame? Stingy and opportunistic. Had they played like this during their other games, they could have won the group. Fortunately, this win has saved their run, and they will likely qualify for the knockout stage. Wasn't looking good for them early in this game. Germany scored basically immediately, granted under dubious circumstances, but it was a horrible start regardless. Then Ecuador remembered that they're supposed to score goals in football, as Angulo fired it home to give Ecuador their first goal of the tournament. Perhaps he could have given Ener Valencia lessons. Half kidding. Ecuador didn't get many chances after that, particularly in the first half, but they formed a sturdy wall Germany couldn't break through. Nice. Germany and walls. I like it. That continued in the second half, but the Germans left themselves vulnerable for counters. It gave us intense game with Ecuador's crowd cheering them on. Plata made it all worth it when he beat Nar to the ball and gave Ecuador the win. Great goal. Great goal. Okay, so they did lose to Germany. Very nice. So they move on. And let's see. This game right here. Jeez. This game was, I think, just what you didn't want to see from both of these teams. And I think that's why the Flame, maybe you said it better than I did. So this was a draw, but it seemed like they almost had a mutual understanding before even the kickoff. Like, it's almost like do you guys want to tie this one? Do you guys want to like not score? Because we understand that if we both draw, that we probably both get in. Like Australia definitely does. So, and then Paraguay is probably like, yeah, sure. And the reason why is because they changed the rules. They changed the rules this year. With a bigger field, they changed the rules to not be like they changed the rules to I guess prevent competition, like to prevent the drama that they want. I don't know. I just don't get it. This might as well be Exhibit A on why head-to-head being the first tiebreaker in group play is not a good idea. Neither Paraguay nor Australia needed to win, but it would be nice. However, a point was also going to be very beneficial as it would practically guarantee both teams a spot in the knockouts. This game played out like both teams knew it. When FIFA made the change to head-to-head being the first tiebreaker, I didn't have a problem with it. On the surface, it feels like the most sensible way to settle ties in groups and could encourage teams to go for the win instead of the draw against each other. However, in practice, it gives us scenarios like this, and the combination with the expanded field makes this problem even more prominent. Yeah. I don't doubt that either side wanted to win this game. Certainly showed in the final few minutes, but the 90 minutes before, they were full of slow, cautious play. It's a shame. Yeah. Weird. I don't know. Who knows if we see this? Because it's like a new thing. It used to be the latter. There used to be goal differential. So you needed, like, the tie was just not enough. It's so weird. So probably one of the worst games of the Cup, to be honest. Probably, yeah, that and Netherlands handled Tunisia with a terrible, terrible tournament. Terrible tournament all time. I think you wrote about this one. Yeah, I think that was the worst game too. Let's see, Flame. Let's see. Did you bring him up? Flame took Tunisia to town, to task. Tunisia's torturous tournament. Tunisia's 2026 World Cup campaign is mercifully over, and it will go down as one of the worst ever. 3 losses, 2 goals, 12 goals against, minus 10 goal differential. They became the 9th team ever to finish the World Cup with a goal differential of minus 10 or worse, and the first to do it since 2010. Out of those 8 other teams, which runs are most similar to Tunisia, once we take out the 5 runs with the goal differential worse than 10 and Greece's 0 goal minus 10 in 1994, there are actually 2 that look identical. Mexico in 1978, 3 losses, 2 goals scored, 12 goals against, minus 10 goal differential. New Zealand, 1982, 3 losses, 2 goals scored, 12 goals against, and a minus 10 differential. Mexico in 1978 was in pot 2. Tunisia in 2026 was in pot 3. And New Zealand, 1982, was pot 4. By that logic alone, Mexico 1978 would be the worst of the 3, with Tunisia in 2026 the second worst, making them the eighth worst World Cup performance ever. However, I think you could argue they're as high as the 4th worst performance, depending on how much you consider the advances in a team's football program and their prior history. I mean, at least they got a goal, I guess, right? At least they scored. Nice hero there. By the way, I love that. Just like the header. It's like doink. Poor Greece. All right, so on to the W. Miss Mabry and your Toronto Tempo. How does it feel, Flame? How does it feel to have a record tire, not setter? But she certainly tied it. Let's see how she did it. Let's see the shot. The old expansion franchise setting records right out the gate. This is her her point tying total. 3.
Of the game. Come on, Mabry for 3. Oh, 53! Ties the all-time WNBA single season record! It's Marina's night! Unbelievable. Steal of the game. Come on, Mabry for 3. Oh, 53! Ties the all-time.
Place is rocking. I love it. It's against the Sparks too, which is crazy. Trying to see if there's more on her, but didn't she like tie the record for threes too? Let's see. 53 points, 6 rebounds, 9 for 18. Wow. Let's go. Feeling it. Nine for 18 from 3. That's amazing. 17 for 28. That's amazing. 32 minutes played. Dang. Dog. That's crazy. Wow, Van Vliet is yours? Fred Van Vliet holds the highest for Toronto? It's not Kawhi? Or didn't Terrence Ross like randomly just go off one night? I'll never forget that. I like woke up one morning and was like, Terrence Ross drops 50. Oh, maybe he just had like 50 on the nose, but I just remember it just being the most random 50-point score. But I'm pretty sure he was a Raptor. But Fred Van Vliet, huh? Wow. Ross's was 50 exactly? Yeah, okay. So she's up there with the Toronto greats. Kawhi's highest was 45. That checks out. I feel like he's more of a board man, gets paid and dish. And although in the All-Star game, when they were doing the round robin and he was just like on fire, like he can definitely catch fire. That was cool to see. So congrats to Marina She is now tied for the WNBA all time in points in a single game. Obviously, a player of the game. Raya says, "Holy shit, what a night for Marina. She was beyond spectacular." And I tying both WNBA single game point and threes record 53 and 9 respectively. Just an incredible game that I don't see myself forgetting ever. Marina Mabrey just went out and torched the ever-living hell out of the plumless Sparks. Oh, no Kelsey Plum. And yet she wasn't voted an all-star by the fans. Okay, don't worry. She'll just go out and make you all look like fools you are. Sure, the Sparks can't play defense, but no defense in the W is able to stop Mabrey when she gets that hot from deep. This game was a blowout basically immediately, and it became the Mabrey show as I waited anxiously as she got closer and closer to the single game scoring record. When she hit it, I thought she was going to break it for sure. Unfortunately, she's only tied for the record. But still, what a performance from Toronto's first star on the W. I was initially splitting my time between this and Tunisia, Netherlands, but it didn't take long for this game to become the FOR. Yeah. Good switch. Edit. On the second thought, this is Toronto's first iconic performance in the W. I have to rate it in the green. It'll just be just below green. Yeah, the game wasn't that great, but props. I don't understand. Is voting complete? When is the All-Star game? Are we? How many games into the season are we? It was bound to happen anyway. Interesting. Darth Plague with some shade. Yes, there you go. Oof. There you go. Neutrals give it some respect. I appreciate that. Close to 20 games into the season. All right, but isn't it a 50-game season now? When is the All-Star break? A little bit after that? Tempo played 18. Okay. Interesting. All right, moving right along here. We got Mabry going off. Oh, we got the Phillies, dude. So I've kind of been, just enjoying the World Cup, enjoying being an Knicks champion. Also enjoying, I guess, the Mets just being so bad that I just don't care. So it's given me some wisdom. No, it's not giving me wisdom. It's given me some perspective on, and watching baseball this season, just because it's been more enjoyable. I have not been stressed out, and I've been able to appreciate just like ridiculous stuff that happens in baseball on a nightly basis. One of them being this series with the Phillies and the Nats. So last night was the last game of the series, 3-game series, excuse me. And the story coming into this one, I think Zach, maybe somebody, maybe nobody. I just knew it. The previous 2 games, this is the 3rd game. So the previous 2 games that these two played, 9th inning, 2 outs, 2 strikes, back-to-back games where the Nats were up with a chance to win the game. 2 strikes, 2 outs, and they lost the game to the Phillies. In this game, which is the 3rd game of the series, right? So this has happened twice now. The Nats were up 5-0. And mind you, this is Bryce Harper's old team. This is Bryce Harper's old stomping ground. This is where he came up in Washington. So now it's the top of the 9. The Phillies came back, surprise, surprise, all the way to tie this up. Bryce Harper just unloads.
Fly ball, left field, that's hit well. Lyles going back toward the wall. Gone! Opposite field, 2-run home run.
Oh, no.
Bryce Harper, the 9th inning magic, strikes again.
They leave you speechless, what they've done the last 3 games.
Just absolutely remarkable. The Phillies down 5-0 have come back to take a 7-5 lead.
Look at
Fly
this.
ball, left field, that's hit well. Lyles going back toward the wall.
Watch the gesture.
Gone!
Watch the gesture here. It's not what you think it is.
Opposite field, 2-run.
Apparently, he was getting heckled by Nationals fans. They were like behind the dugout, just, dropping F-bombs and giving them all that stuff. And the gesture here certainly looks like flipping the bird, but that is actually not the bird. That is the ring finger. And you needed to make it absolutely clear. Oh man, maybe I don't have it here. I think it was because he didn't want to get fined. I mean, obviously, but let's see. There it is. That's fans. Harper then hit the arm. No, that's not a middle finger. That's a ring finger. So, there we go. So he won't get fined. He just gave him the old ring finger. So great. Unbelievable. Let me see if this is, in fact, breaking news. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, wow. Let me see. Add a little banner here. Carlos Mendoza. So long, Mendoza. Oh, man. What can I say? It's like a little too late. Too late for that move. I don't know what this doesn't do anything. Like, I guess it had to be done, so might as well do it now, but now what, man? Now what? So what? Like, the season was lost a long time ago. Season was lost when you let Pete go, when you traded all those, clubhouse guys. Francisco Lindor is basically running the show. Nolan McLean, not who we thought he was, at least yet. Juan Soto doesn't look like he wants to be here. It's like this is like such an obvious decision. Why does it take so long? Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, I've always said, at least I still have the Knicks because the Mets and the Jets are like always vying for most embarrassing franchise in New York. The two of them are just able to invent ways to lose that you just, you got to give them credit for because you can't even fathom the way that these guys lose consistently. And David Stern's next, right? Like, get everybody out of here. Get everybody out of here. Start from the top, Steve. It's not working. It hasn't worked since you got here, honestly, except for that magical run, which nobody saw coming, which fizzled out in the NLCS. It's just not been what you promised at all. Another season just gone, just wasted. Talking to you in June, almost July, it's gone. Season's over. Season's done. Oh well. So long, Mendoza. Thanks for nothing. Absolutely nothing. Thank you for breaking the news, Flame, but whatever. So yeah, Philly torture the Nats, and they are, I think, like a couple games back from the Braves, which is crazy. Talk about a franchise that made a move to get rid of their manager, I think in May, and look who's back. Look who like absolutely turned it around. I think the Mets saw that and were like, nah, not us. No way are we going to do something like that. Let's just stick to the plan because it's not working. Phillies are ridiculous. Who do they think they are, firing their manager, trying to shake things up, salvage the season? What? Who does that? Certainly not us. Certainly not the New York Metropolitans with the richest owner in all of sports. No. Mm-mm. Let the Phillies do it. Let the Phillies be the ones that put egg on their face. Make a crazy move to save their season because it's still savable. Man. I just, like I said, I can't get mad if I don't care. So I'm not mad because I don't care. It's that simple. Stoicism. If you don't care, you can't get mad. It's like I'm practicing it right now. Okay, now on to the final topic of conversation here on the show. Who is Kathy Engelbert? So, for the uninitiated and for those who don't know, Kathy Engelbert is the first ever commissioner of the WNBA. So, before her arrival, the WNBA did not have a commissioner. I believe as part of like the governance structure, it rolled up to the NBA. So it was like kind of Adam Silver, who was like dual commish. But with the growth of the league, the expansion of the league, the maturity of the league and the product, it's natural to appoint a commissioner of a professional league. It's just like every single league has one. You have Manfred for baseball, you have Goodell for football, you have Silver for basketball. Now you have Kathy for the WNBA. And I'm not sure who NHL certainly has one. I'm not sure who it is. The story here for Kathy, because I'm like trying to figure out like where did she come from? Who is she? How do you become the commissioner of the WNBA? What's your pedigree? What's your credentials? So, did some research. Prior to this role, she served as a CEO of Deloitte, which is a big four accounting and consulting firm. She led over 100,000 people. And she grew revenue for Deloitte by 30%. So impressive, definitely. And did she play in the league? She was a college athlete, but she never played in the W. She played at Lehigh. She was a dual sport athlete, actually. She had basketball and lacrosse at Lehigh. Okay. So she's got the pedigree from Deloitte, where she was there for 13 years. Sorry, where she was there from 1986 to 2019. So she got promoted a bunch, it seems. And then she got promoted a bunch, it seems, and then she got the CEO role from 2015 to 2019. Okay, so then she comes into the WNBA as commissioner since 2019. Yeah, at 2019 is her first year as commissioner. 33-year career at Deloitte. Now she's got a 7-year career here in the WNBA. So she is basically responsible for the expansion of the WNBA, the media rights deals, the expansion teams, the growth. She's also, and I'll pull a picture of her because I actually didn't recognize her. That's what she looks like. Let me get some more pictures of her. There she is. She's also the person who, oversees the relationship with the WNBA Players Association. So I think it's fair to say that she has a lot of influence on how the players and the referees that call the games for the players are treated. Where am I going with this? This is the lady that I think is responsible for what we're seeing with how Caitlin Clark is being treated. I think everybody, and I've, sat out the last 2 days about what's going on with Caitlin Clark and that poster that everybody's talked about, and then the foul with Alyssa Thomas, which is ridiculous. I have not heard anyone talk about this lady and how bad she is at her job and how she got to this job and how can she get out of this job? How does she get replaced? Because she needs to be replaced. This lady reminds me of Woody Johnson of the Jets, where she is the head of the snake. And because she's so bad at this job and she's such an enabler and she keeps everything so insular, that the WNBA is not going to go to where it could. The WNBA is essentially handicapped by this woman because this woman enables all of the players to treat Caitlin Clark the way that they do and get away with it. And so, how does this lady come to power? And how does a commissioner get out of power? How do you replace a Kathy Engelbert? How does it happen? Because it needs to happen. It needs to happen because they're destroying the golden goose. They're destroying not the one player, but the player who, a rising tide lifts all ships. It's that's just such a cliche thing to say, but you see it in every league. Somebody comes in who is just a player that just transcends to the next level. The entire league at first doesn't like it, but then you kind of understand, oh wow, this person, whether it's Tiger Woods for golf, Michael Jordan for basketball, LeBron James for basketball, name your star quarterback for the NFL. The market just gets reset. When the market gets reset, people want to watch. When people want to watch, TV want to pay money. When TV want to pay money, the league can charge for it. And then it all trickles down. Purses get bigger. Checks get fatter. Why you're, as the head of this league, the head of the snake, you're going to allow this kind of behavior where you're treating the person who's trying to lift you guys up, get you from the back of the plane Southwest to flying private, get you the new TV deal, move your road games to NBA arenas because of the draw that you bring. I'm talking about Caitlin Clark specifically. And you're going to allow the people who are jealous of her colleagues, these ladies on other teams, to come, and it's just so blatantly obvious that the conversation and the directive is let us hurt Caitlin Clark because we don't like that she's better than us. It is the most petty, immature, amateur joke of a display, it's just so obvious. And then she allows it. She encourages it. Some of the quotes that she's had about her, I was reading this. A major flashpoint between the league's leadership and its players occurred in late 2025. Minnesota Lynx and WNBA star Napheesa Collier alleged that during a private conversation about player pay, Engelbert told her that stars like Caitlin Clark should be grateful for their off-court earnings and that the platform the NBA provides them. It's the other way around, Kathy. Don't get it twisted, man. Engelbert's response. Engelbert strongly denied making the comments about Clark. Need to be grateful. Man. In 2024, Engelbert faced intense backlash from players in the WNBA Players Association after a CNBC interview where she discussed the highly visible rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. During the interview, Engelbert was asked about the darker and menacing tone of some fan bases, including online hate and racism. Rather than directly condemning the vitriol, she focused heavily on how the rivalry drove business and viewership. Player rejection. Players in the WNBPA publicly criticized Engelbert for dropping the ball, emphasizing that toxic and discriminatory fan behavior should never be justified by the business growth of the league. Quote is insane. It's insane. Like, how is like so? That's my rant for today. It's like I just cannot believe this lady Kathy Engelbert is still the commissioner after all this. And like how and therein lies the question. It's like how do you get her out? Like what like who overrides the commissioner? Who determines the commissioner's like how does a commissioner stay commissioner? Like who votes them in or out? Like what is the governing body above the commissioner? Who does the commissioner answer to? Because by all accounts here, she is not qualified for the job. She is doing a terrible job. And it's gone on for far too long. It's only getting worse. Okay, so the owners, I mean, if the owners aren't the owners like mostly NBA owners too? I imagine. If I had to guess, I will say that Kathy will not be around past, I would say. They just signed a new CBA though, so I don't know what her contract is like. I don't know if she's protected, but I can't see a world in which she is at the helm in the next 2 years. All right, we'll check back in on that, Flame. We certainly will. We'll check back in on that. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. That was my final piece for today, but I want to see the leaderboard real quick. Here we go. Oh, wow. Finally, a separation at the top. One stands alone. How you doing on this, Flame? You anywhere? I'm tied for sixth. 5 off the lead. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot, but now it gets interesting because keep in mind, we're what? Halfway through, a little bit over. It's got 104 matches total. Oh, you're 51, so you're right outside. 104 matches total. So once we get through the group stage, like each pick is going to be, anybody who's on this leaderboard, I'd say, like, you're still very much, it's very tight. It's very tight. Like, upsets will happen, and we will definitely have a lot of movement here. So I'm loving the way that this leaderboard is looking right now. The group stage was not kind to me, dude. Look at this. I have one group where I can get group theory, and it's today. Do or die today is the only guys that I've gotten right, and it's because that there's been no draws. I've not been a draw guy, and I really hope that nobody draws today. In fact, I'm counting on it. I got my picks in here. So there you go. I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for us. Rooting for the group theory achievement for anybody who might be like, what the heck are these guys talking about? I'll show you real quick. So for the World Cup, we have these achievements. Where are they? Oh, right. We have these custom achievements, and they are specific to FIFA, like the World Cup. I made almost like a FIFA drop. Let me get Kathy out of here. And this one right here, group theory, requires you to get one group all correct. And as you can see, I'm coming up short. I've got one group left. So I'll get that one. I'll get group stage glory. But yeah, group theory proved a lot harder than I thought it'd be, honestly. I'm kind of disappointed in myself. Yes, no, right, exactly. It's going to be so important. I just can't see them drawing either. So it'll be huge. It'll be huge, this game today. All right. With that, get back here and kick us off on this lovely Friday. So 6 games today in the World Cup, including Mbappe versus Holland, the Dictator versus the Viking, and then we also have Leo Messi. Yeah, we get an RGL tomorrow, Flame. Yes, we'll be back. Tea up a tea time for us. It has been long overdue. Been dealing with some sickness here, but I think we're back. So spread the word, spread the news, and I will sign off for today. Remember to like and subscribe. Remember that RateGame is free fun for fans of all ages. You watch the games you love, you rate them, and then you repeat. You rate to remember, so you never forget. My name is Nick Mark George. Happy Friday. Let's go World Cup. See you tomorrow.